Hello friends, welcome to the day one review of the New Year's test match at the Sydney Cricket Ground. India versus Australia, the border Gavaskar Trophy, fifth and final test match. Indian cricket is in shambles. Nothing is going right. After what we saw yesterday with reports coming from Sydney that Captain Rohit Sharma opts himself out of this test match, and that was proved today when Jasprit Bumrah walked out for toss. Nothing seems to be right in that Indian dressing room. At least that is what one could figure out or one could gather from the day's events. The batting, especially by Rishabh Pant, and the manner in which he went about, that showed that Indian cricket is indeed in shambles. When we all hoped that the nightmare of 2024, especially in the Australia series and preceded by the never seen before whitewash by New Zealand at home, when it was believed that the nightmare and the bad dreams were off and India would get off to a better start and there were better days ahead in the new year, it seems to be going for worse. Rohit Sharma, we all speculated yesterday and in preview in this Jiku Diaries channel, if he will play or not. There were later in the day leading to the test match on the preview day, there were reports that Rohit opted out of this test match. And we all heard Gautam Gambhir confirming that the playing 11 will be decided only at the toss, and that too when it was asked if Rohit Sharma would play or not. Today, Jasprit Bumrah walked out for toss, just like he did in the first test of the series in Perth. Different circumstances. Rohit Sharma opted out of the Perth test match because his wife was due to deliver a baby. But then the baby was born a week before and he opted to stay out of the first test match and joined the team for the second test match. But here, after playing in 3 test matches, leading India with miserable results, India lost in Adelaide, the day-night test match under Rohit's captaincy. India lost in Melbourne, a match that they should have saved, and no excuses for losing. India 2-1 down in the series, and Rohit Sharma, he has not scored runs at all. 31 runs at an average of 6.20 in 5 innings in the series. He had no choice but to sit out of this test match. But then, the official reason is that he himself opted out of the test match and Jasprit Bumrah leading the side. But then, if anyone not performing, he is plainly dropped. There is no two ways about it. Often, the Indian team has gone about giving diplomatic answers, going the political way and not saying what it is on the face of it. In the previous test match, Shubman Gill, the coach Gautam Gambhir and the others, support staff, Abhishek Nair, he said during this Melbourne test match that Shubman Gill was not dropped, but he was told in polite terms that he was not required for this test match because of the balance of the team, because of the circumstances, because of the situation and whatnot. But then, if a player does not figure in the playing 11, he is dropped, especially after he was part of it in the previous game. Just like it is out or not out, there is nothing in between. A player is dropped or he is picked. It is just that they are going about the roundabout way and saying just to please, I don't know who, Rohit Sharma just dropped for not performing in this test series. Being a captain, it is a big, big hit. Not for good, but it is never have we seen a captain being dropped. Of course, we have seen in IPL captains keeping themselves away just because the rules allowed only 4 foreign players to be in the playing 11, and I for one very clearly remember Kumar Sangakkara dropping out when he was captain of the Pune team, and he, just to keep the balance and the mix of the team correct, he dropped out. And another reason was that he was also not scoring as he was required to in one particular IPL. Pune Warriors was the side that he was captaining, and he kept out himself. But then this is Rohit Sharma. People go through bad phases, they go out of form, they find runs difficult to come by. But this, the way it has been handled by the Indian cricket management, nothing is going right. Nothing seems to be right in the dressing room, and the impact of that, and especially after Gautam Gambhir has reportedly told the team and in the dressing room that he has had enough of it, not in so much terms, but then he has reportedly told his team after the Melbourne defeat that the team players have had their way in the first 6 months of his tenure as the head coach, and now going forward it will be his way. So the impact of that, and he also told that in the press conference that the players have to understand and they have to go by the team requirement. Apparently Gautam Gambhir said if the players don't play according to his plan and the way he wants to play, he wants them to play, he will not mind saying thank you, whoever it may be. And this kind of an atmosphere in the dressing room is not at all healthy. The effect of this was seen on the first day's play with Rishabh Pant. Though top scoring for India with 40 runs, he played out 98 deliveries, almost 2.5 hours at the crease. But that is not the typical Rishabh Pant that we know. Yes, we criticized him for playing those 2 rash shots in Melbourne. He did not understand the situation then. He was required to bat and save. And today he went into a shell, not batting the way, and that is clearly the effect of Gautam Gambhir and his strong words in the dressing room. India won the toss, Jasprit Bumrah winning the toss, choosing to bat first, and it was a day when we thought that he could have chosen to bowl. There were clouds overhead and probably pace bowlers would have had some effect, especially Jasprit Bumrah. But then he thought that the sun would beat hard and it would turn out to be a good batting pitch. But then when what we saw today, the players, most of them, mainly Rishabh Pant, getting hit umpteen times, and India finished the day all out for 185 and managing to take the wicket of Usman Khawaja of the last ball of the day. Play extended for half an hour to make up for the overs, but then India batted 72.2 overs and had only 3 overs to bowl at the Australian openers, Usman Khawaja and Sam Constars, and who else but Jasprit Bumrah picking up the wicket of Khawaja, edging to KL Rahul in second slip. Australia finish the day at 9 for 1, and they have a lot to play for tomorrow. I still feel it is going to be Australia's test match, and India will find it very hard to come back and win this test match to retain the border Gavaskar Trophy. Rishabh Pant, I mentioned about the effect it may have had, the Gambhir effect on him and his batting. It was clearly seen. Even Ravindra Jadeja, the two who for quite some time held the middle order, the innings, with their partnership, which was not big anyway. Ravindra Jadeja, second highest scorer with 26, and the third highest scorer was Jasprit Bumrah, 22, just swinging his bat and throwing his bat at almost everything. Rishabh Pant was not the Rishabh Pant that we know, and sometimes, though we criticize him, it was sad to see the way he batted and struggled and got hit umpteen times and not scoring. But once when he charged down and hit a straight six, we thought that he was back to his own self. But then he was out for 40 in an identical manner to which he was out in the second innings, not connecting the pull shot and was out caught. Earlier, Virat Kohli went out in the same manner in which he has been repeatedly getting out, outside the off stump, and he has been dismissed 6 times out of 7 before this test match, and it has only increased. 7 out of 8 times in this series he has got out caught in the slip cordon or behind the wicket, and this time he edged Scott Boland to the third slip, debutant Beau Webster catching it in front of the second slip, diving to his left. There was drama. Virat Kohli, the first ball that he faced, he edged to Steve Smith in the second slip, the ball going low to Steve Smith's right. He could not hold it, just as it seemed that he had flicked the ball up for the gully fielder Marnus Labuschagne to complete the catch. The replays and the third umpire, Joel Wilson of the West Indies, said, and he thought that it was not a clean catch and that the ball was grounded. That was a point for debate at that particular time, but then Joel Wilson has finally made the right decision, not giving Kohli caught. There was an element of doubt. There was also a point for discussion with the way Washington Sundar was out caught behind. Something similar to Yashasvi Jaiswal in the second innings of the previous test match in Melbourne. This time, Joel Wilson being the third umpire, he adjudged Washington Sundar caught behind, him seeing no gap between the ball and the glove, even though the sneakometer may have thought otherwise. But then, fairly enough, the right decisions were made. But overall, it was a disappointing show by India, the batsmen not rising to the occasion, so especially after Bumrah won the toss and chose to bat first. Yashasvi Jaiswal fell for cheap. KL Rahul opening this time again after batting at number 3, because Rohit Sharma played in the previous test match. This time he was not there. KL Rahul back to opening with Yashasvi Jaiswal. He was the first man to be dismissed. Then it was like a procession, except for a brief while when Jadeja and Washington Sundar had that partnership. But then it was Australia all along, all the way, and the key bowler for them was Scott Boland, picking up 4 wickets and taking his tally of wickets in Test cricket to 50, exactly 50, with 4 for 31 in 20 overs. Scott Boland was clearly the best bowler of Australia, making the Indian batsmen play at it and in the process getting wickets. Mitchell Starc, 3 for 49. Captain Pat Cummins, 2 for 37. And Nathan Lyon, the lone wicket, just at the stroke of lunch. A wicket that Shubman Gill will be very disappointed with, and it was a senseless thing for him to do. Just before he got out, he got into a chat with the slip fielder Steven Smith and the leg slip fielder Marnus Labuschagne, and perhaps that disturbed his concentration. And he also talked back, which was not required at all. What he was required to do was focus on the game, concentrate, because he was coming back into this test match after being left out, and there were people felt for him as to why he was dropped from the previous test match. And then when he is back and when he has the reputation of scoring well, he just threw it away, stepping out to Nathan Lyon off the last ball before lunch and edging it to Steve Smith to be out. Gill out for 20, and then Kohli, he again fell nicking, and like I mentioned in the last test match, he has earned the nickname Nicking Machine from the Australian commentators. India would do well, but then the dressing room has to be in a good space. Players should feel secured. No insecurity among them will help the Indian cricket team move forward. Let us hope that India come out of this, and this Rohit Sharma episode is perhaps could have been handled better. Him opting out, a captain opting out, especially in the final test match of a series with all his experience, it is not really nice. But then that is how Indian cricket is, and perhaps it is an indication that Gautam Gambhir wants to show that he is the man in charge. Let us hope for India bouncing back strong on day 2, and like they did in the first test match in Perth, being all out for 150 and putting Australia in trouble. A similar thing happens on day 2. Bumrah was captain then. Bumrah is back as captain now, though in the stand-in capacity. Well, anything can happen in cricket. Until tomorrow with the day 2 review. Take care, stay safe, and have a nice day ahead. Bye-bye.